My sister kept telling everyone my partner was secretly in love with her. I thought it was a joke, until it wasn't. I used to think people exaggerated when they said family drama could spiral out of control overnight. I don't think that anymore. This didn't start with screaming matches or public scenes. It started small, almost harmless. The kind of thing you brush off because acknowledging it feels dramatic. My sister Lily began making comments about my partner, Ethan. At first, they were easy to ignore. "He's just so attentive, isn't he?" "You're lucky. Men don't usually do things like that." Things like what? Helping her carry groceries up 2 flights of stairs when the elevator was broken, restarting her laptop when it froze during a deadline, jump-starting her car in a parking lot when her battery died. Normal things, decent things, things I'd expect any good person to do for their partner's sibling. Ethan is helpful by nature. He's the guy who holds doors, fixes loose cabinet handles, and carries extra phone chargers, just in case. That's who I fell in love with. But Lily started reframing it. At a family dinner, she laughed and said, "Did you notice how fast Ethan showed up when I called him?" I barely finished explaining, and he was already on his way. My mom shifted uncomfortably. My dad focused very hard on cutting his food. I smiled tightly and said, "He was already nearby." Lily smiled back, not a friendly smile, a knowing one. "I'm just saying," she replied. "Men don't rush like that unless they care." I told myself she was joking. Lily has always liked being the center of attention. This felt like another attempt to provoke a reaction. But the comments didn't stop. If Ethan texted me asking whether we needed anything from the store, Lily would lean over to glance at my phone. "He's thinking about coming here," she'd say. "No," I'd reply. "He's asking if we need milk." She laughed every time, like I was missing something obvious. Then she started posting online. A photo of the ceiling fan Ethan helped install after her landlord refused to fix it. Caption, "Grateful for people who always show up for me." When someone asked who helped, she replied, "Someone special." Friends started messaging me privately. "Hey, is everything okay? Your sister posts about Ethan a lot." I told them everything was fine, because I wanted it to be. I finally brought it up to Ethan one night. "She's just joking, right?" I asked. He looked genuinely confused. "I thought so. Is she not?" "She told my cousin you're in love with her." He stared at me. "What?" That was the first time I saw real concern cross his face. "She said that?" "Yes, and apparently you drop everything for her because of it." Ethan shook his head. "I help her because she's your sister. I'd feel like a jerk if I didn't." That was when it hit me. Lily's entire theory was built on one assumption. Men only help women they're romantically interested in. So what would happen if that help stopped? I didn't suggest it right away. It felt manipulative, uncomfortable. But then Lily escalated again. She told Ethan's brother there was definitely chemistry between her and Ethan. She told an aunt that it was only a matter of time before Ethan realized he'd made a mistake with me. That's when Ethan agreed. The next time Lily called about her Wi-Fi not working, Ethan said he was busy. She called me 5 minutes later. "Is Ethan upset with me?" she asked. "No," I said. "He's just busy." "He's never too busy for me." Interesting. 2 days later, she asked him to help move a bookshelf. He said no again. That night, she showed up at our apartment. "What's wrong with Ethan?" she demanded. "Nothing's wrong," I replied. "He won't help me with anything anymore." I looked at her calmly and said, "You said men only do that when they're interested." Her expression flickered. "Well, yes. He's not helping you," I continued. "What does that tell you?" She didn't answer. She just stared at me like I'd broken an unspoken rule. At the next family dinner, she changed tactics. "Ethan's been really cold to me lately," she announced loudly. My uncle laughed. "Why would your sister's partner move your furniture?" "But he always helps me," Lily snapped. "And now he doesn't," I said, "because you told people he wanted you." The table went silent. My mom finally spoke. "Lily, you said this was just a joke." I leaned forward. "Then why did you tell my hairdresser Ethan was going to leave me for you?" She looked around for backup. There was none. That night, Lily posted a long message on Facebook about toxic family members, about being punished for having feelings, about feeling unsafe and unwelcome around jealous people. She didn't name me. She didn't need to. Within minutes, the comments rolled in. "Protect your peace. Cut off toxic relatives. You don't owe anyone access to you." I stared at my phone, my hands shaking, because for the first time, I realized this wasn't just attention seeking anymore. This was something else entirely, and it was about to get a lot worse. She took it public. I responded with facts. That's when everything exploded. I stared at Lily's post for a long time before doing anything. It was carefully written, vague enough to avoid specifics, emotional enough to invite sympathy. She never said my name, never said Ethan's, but anyone who knew us knew exactly who she meant. The post talked about being punished for honesty, about family members who felt threatened instead of listening, about how some people couldn't handle it when someone else was naturally magnetic. Magnetic. I could practically hear her voice while reading it. My phone started buzzing almost immediately. Texts from my mom, from my dad, from my brother. Have you seen this? What is she doing? Call me. Ethan read the post once and handed my phone back to me. She's dragging your name. And mine, he said quietly. I know. I want to comment. Not yet. I knew Lily. If we reacted emotionally, she'd twist it into proof that we were attacking her. She wanted a reaction. She wanted chaos. So I waited. Then I started writing. I didn't insult her. I didn't diagnose her. I didn't speculate about her motives. I laid out the timeline. I explained that my sister had spent months telling people my partner was in love with her, that her evidence was basic kindness, fixing a laptop, helping with groceries, jump-starting a car, that we tried addressing it privately, that Ethan stopped helping her only after she repeatedly told others he wanted her. I hit post. Within minutes, people started commenting. Friends from college, coworkers, family friends. Some said they'd noticed Lily's post before and thought they were strange. Others said they'd been confused but didn't want to get involved. Then someone commented something that made my chest tighten. I remember Lily telling me Ethan was going to leave you eventually. Then another. She told me the same thing. That's when Ethan commented. His response was short, calm, impossible to misinterpret. I have never had romantic feelings for Lily. Her claims made me deeply uncomfortable. I helped her as family. I stopped because it became inappropriate. That comment got more reactions than anything else on the page, and Lily completely lost control. She replied accusing me of gaslighting her. She said I'd rewritten history. She claimed Ethan stopping his help was proof I'd forced him to deny his true feelings. She wrote that men often don't understand their own emotions, that Ethan's discomfort was actually internal conflict, that his distance meant he was struggling with attraction. It was surreal. Every boundary became proof. Every rejection became confirmation. That was when my dad stepped in, publicly. He commented that Lily's behavior was unacceptable and that she needed professional help, that she owed Ethan and me an apology, that the family couldn't pretend this was normal anymore. People started liking his comment almost immediately. Lily didn't respond. Instead, she posted again the next morning. This one was longer, more dramatic, written like a manifesto. She talked about truth tellers being silenced, about families scapegoating the one brave enough to speak reality, about choosing to go no contact for her own mental health. The comments were full of strangers cheering her on. I wanted to scream, but instead I started documenting everything. Screenshots, dates, names. Every time she'd said Ethan wanted her, every person she told, every post she'd made. By the end, I had pages of notes and dozens of screenshots. That's when my mom called, crying. I don't understand how this got so bad, she said. Neither did I. We decided to meet as a family, without Lily. When we finally sat down together, the truth came out. My aunt admitted Lily had asked her how long she should wait before telling Ethan how she felt. My uncle said Lily had asked whether Ethan seemed happier around her than around me. My brother shared a text Lily sent him listing, "Signs someone is secretly attracted to you." It was worse than I thought. This wasn't impulsive, it was systematic. She'd been planting seeds everywhere. We agreed on boundaries, firm ones. No family events until therapy. A real apology. No more spreading stories. My dad volunteered to tell her. He put the phone on speaker. She answered cheerfully. He explained everything. She exploded. She accused us of choosing me over her. Said we'd regret it when Ethan finally admitted the truth. Called my dad a terrible father. Said my mom enabled favoritism. Then she hung up. The room went silent. The next morning, Lily posted again. This time, she said she was the victim of family abuse. I realized then that this wasn't about Ethan anymore. It was about Lily needing a story where she wasn't alone, and she wasn't done yet. That's when people outside the family started reaching out, and that's when I realized how far she'd taken it. For a few days after Lily announced she was going no contact, things went eerily quiet. No posts, no texts, no vague quotes about truth or energy. I almost started to hope she'd finally realized how badly things had spiraled. That hope lasted exactly 4 days. The first message came from someone I barely knew. "Hey, this might be awkward, but I work with your sister." My stomach dropped. She said she'd seen the Facebook posts and wanted to check in because Lily had been talking about the situation at work. A lot. "She's really upset," the woman wrote. "People are worried." I didn't know how to respond, so I called her. She sounded nervous, like she wasn't sure she should be telling me any of this. She said Lily had been bringing the situation up constantly during the workday, crying in the break room, getting visibly upset at her desk. Her performance had dropped so much that her manager had already spoken to her twice. "She keeps saying your family turned on her," the coworker said. "And Ethan?" I asked. "She talks about him like he's central to everything." That word stuck with me. Central. Before I could even process that call, Ethan's brother called him. He'd been contacted by Lily privately. She told him Ethan had been really cruel lately for no reason, that Ethan had suddenly pulled away after months of connection, that something was clearly wrong in our relationship. Ethan put the call on speaker. "I have never flirted with your sister," he said calmly. "I've never let her on. I stopped helping because she told people I wanted her." There was a long pause. "I didn't know it was that bad," his brother finally said. "She made it sound like something mutual." That's when it hit me. Lily wasn't just reacting anymore. She was actively rewriting reality in real time. That afternoon, 2 of my friends messaged me screenshots. Private messages Lily had sent them. She told one of them I'd always been jealous of her, that I couldn't handle her being more fun and more attractive. She told another that my relationship was already falling apart, and I was blaming her instead of facing the truth. Both friends said the same thing. Something felt really off. I sent them my timeline. The screenshots, the receipts. They were horrified. One of them called me immediately. "This isn't drama," she said. "This is not normal." A week passed. My mom called me every day, her voice more worried each time. Lily wasn't answering her calls, wasn't responding to texts, wasn't even reading messages. "She's still posting," my mom said, "but she won't talk to me." Then my aunt called. Lily had shown up at her house unannounced, asking to stay for a while. When my aunt asked what was going on, Lily admitted she couldn't afford her rent anymore. When asked about work, she avoided the question. My aunt offered one night, on one condition: therapy, and an apology. Lily said she'd think about it. She left before morning. Later that day, she posted about conditional love. That night, I heard something that made my blood run cold. A mutual friend messaged me and said Lily was telling people Ethan had started texting her again, that he was apologizing, that they were working things out privately. I asked Ethan immediately. He unlocked his phone without hesitation. No calls, no texts, no contact of any kind. That was the moment we started talking about protecting ourselves, not emotionally, legally. Before we could take any steps, my mom called. Panicked. Lily had asked her for money. She'd been fired. The next morning, my dad drove to Lily's apartment to check on her. What he found there would change everything. When my dad walked into her apartment, he realized this wasn't manipulation anymore. It was collapse. My dad called me the moment he left Lily's apartment building. "I'm inside," he texted first. Then, a minute later, "It's bad." He didn't exaggerate. When Lily opened the door, she was still in pajamas, at 10 in the morning. Her hair was greasy, pulled into a messy knot like she hadn't bothered with it in days. She looked thinner, smaller. Not dramatic thin, but the kind of thin that comes from not eating regularly. Her apartment was dark, curtains drawn, dishes stacked in the sink, takeout containers everywhere, trash overflowing. My dad said it smelled stale, like the air hadn't been moving. She didn't greet him. She just stepped aside and let him in. He sat down and asked the question everyone had been avoiding. "Lily, what's going on?" She broke immediately, not yelling, not accusing, just sobbing. The kind of crying that scares you because there's no anger in it, only exhaustion. Between breaths, she admitted something she'd never said before. "I know Ethan doesn't love me." My dad froze. "I know he probably never did," she said. But I couldn't stop thinking it. She told him that after her breakup months earlier, everything felt unbearable. She felt unwanted, disposable, like something was fundamentally wrong with her. Ethan's kindness, his reliability, became something her brain latched onto. It felt safer to believe someone cared, she whispered, even if it wasn't true. My dad held her while she cried. Then he called me. He asked if I'd come over. He said Lily wanted to talk to me, but he didn't want me walking into it alone. I didn't want to go. I was still angry, still hurt, still furious about the lies and the damage. But when I heard her crying in the background, something shifted. I went. When I walked in, Lily wouldn't look at me. She apologized, quietly, quickly. Then she started explaining how Ethan's kindness confused her, how she'd misread things, how she never meant for it to go this far. I stopped her. Your confusion doesn't excuse what you did, I said. You told people my partner wanted you. You lied about him contacting you. You humiliated us. She nodded, crying harder. My dad brought up therapy. This time, she didn't resist. She agreed immediately. She said she was embarrassed, ashamed. She begged us not to tell anyone. I said no. The family needs to know you're getting help, I told her. They're scared, and trust doesn't come back in private. She didn't argue. My dad spent the next 2 days finding a therapist, someone who specialized in attachment issues and distorted relationship beliefs. Lily agreed to go. The night before her first session, she posted again. This time, it was an apology. She admitted she'd created a false narrative. She said she was seeking professional help. She didn't go into details. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Ethan read it the next morning. I appreciate that she said something publicly, he told me, but I'm not ready to talk to her. I told him I understood. I told him I'd never push him to forgive her or interact before he was ready. That mattered to him. I could tell. Over the next few weeks, Lily went to therapy consistently. She sent me occasional updates, short messages, no defensiveness. Her therapist diagnosed her with anxiety and severe attachment issues that worsened after her breakup, a pattern of projecting emotional safety onto unavailable people. It explained her behavior. It didn't excuse it. I kept my distance. Then my mom called one afternoon, sounding lighter than she had in months. Lily got a new job, she said. She seems better. A few weeks later, she asked the question I knew was coming. Would you be okay with Lily coming to a small family dinner? I said yes, with one condition. Ethan could skip it. No pressure, no guilt. My mom agreed immediately. When I told Ethan, he surprised me. I'll come, he said. And that's when I realized this story wasn't over yet. We didn't go back to normal. We built something healthier instead. The dinner was awkward from the moment we walked in. Not explosive, not dramatic. Just careful. Everyone was overly polite. My mom kept offering food even though our plates were full. My dad asked Ethan about work and listened a little too intently to every answer. Lily sat across from me, hands folded in her lap, eyes mostly on her plate. She looked different. Not physically, though she did look healthier, but quieter, less performative, like she wasn't scanning the room for reactions anymore. Halfway through the meal, she put her fork down. I want to thank everyone, she said softly, for not giving up on me. Her voice shook. I'm sorry for the pain and embarrassment I caused, especially to you, she said, looking at Ethan and then at me. I understand now why what I did was wrong. Ethan nodded once. He didn't speak, and that was okay. She didn't push. Didn't try to force a response. She just accepted his silence and moved on. That alone told me therapy was working. After dinner, she asked if she could talk to me outside for a minute. I looked at Ethan. He nodded. On the back porch, Lily told me her therapist helped her see that she'd projected her need for stability onto Ethan, that he represented everything her ex wasn't: safe, reliable, consistent. My brain turned that into romance, she said, because I didn't want to feel alone. I told her I appreciated the insight, but that rebuilding trust would take time. She agreed without arguing. Over the next few months, Lily stayed consistent. She kept going to therapy. She found a roommate. She started volunteering at a crisis center. She didn't talk about Ethan at all. That mattered more than any apology. Eventually, she started dating someone new. The posts were normal, real dates, real activities, no vague captions, no hidden meanings. 3 months later, Ethan told me he was ready to be civil at family events, but that he would never help Lily with things again. That boundary is permanent, he said. I agreed instantly. At Thanksgiving, Lily showed up with her boyfriend. She said hello to Ethan and then continued talking to my aunt. No staring, no comments, no tension. During dinner, she asked Ethan to pass the rolls. He did. That was it. I didn't realize how much anxiety I'd been carrying until it was gone. On the drive home, Ethan squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of how you handled this," he said. "You never doubted me, and you didn't let anyone cross lines." I told him that was what partnership meant to me. My dad later told me he was proud too, that setting boundaries while leaving space for change was harder than cutting someone off completely. He was right. We didn't pretend nothing happened. We didn't go back to how it was, but we went forward, more honest, more aware, and a lot healthier than before. And for the first time in a long time, that felt like enough.